Hey everyone, Joe from GBE Reviews. Sorry for the long break, but between work and life I've been pretty busy for a little while. Fortunately I'm back and I have a new format and an excellent anime to review. Instead of being long-winded, I'm going to try to keep it fairly short and give you 3 things this channel was always supposed to give. The good, the bad, and of course, the ecchi. Today I'm going to cover the anime Elemental Gelade. This anime aired in 2005, so it's a bit of an old anime, but it was done by Studio Xebec, which put together some solid works in the past. Elemental Gelade focuses on Ku, a rookie space pirate, who happens upon a very powerful Edelraid named Ren. You can think of Edelraids like people, except they can transform into powerful weapons when bonded with a person. There are several different organizations, including Arcwade and Chaos Choir, who are all trying to capture Ren and Ku's job is to help Ren return to the home of the Edelraids called Edel Garden, without her getting caught or killed. Alright, so let's start with the good. First, the soundtrack to this anime is amazing. It's done by the same woman who did the OST to My Hime, which is an all-time favorite of mine. Her influence and the very orchestral and ethereal feel of the soundtrack greatly enhances the fantastical world of Guardia. Second, the story is extremely compelling. This is a fairly typical adventure, but with tons of twists and turns. There are many trials to overcome and friends to meet along the way. The nature of each of the major organizations twists and turns throughout the story, and it becomes clear there's no obvious good guy or bad guy, and that the world of Guardia has interesting political and social relationships that are diverse and complex. I think the characters are likable, and the strong bonds of friendship that form between them leads to some great interactions. Another thing I love is this anime isn't afraid to have sad moments. Some characters will die, and there is an overtone of discrimination that brings some uncomfortable real-world implications that really enhance the experience. Finally, the most important thing for me is the story had a fairly strong, complete ending. There was a little bit of open-endedness, but generally the story ended and you felt it was complete and brought to a solid conclusion. In an industry where these kind of endings are not the norm, I was pleased at how well things wrapped up. Alright, now on to the bad, which I think is fairly minimal all things considered. First, though the characters were solid, the overall level of development was less than I would have liked. Some characters had strong development, but most of the main characters had a simple single lesson they learned that kind of quote-unquote fixed their issues, and to me that felt a little bit simple and trite. You've seen this a dozen times in other anime done better. This is painfully obvious in the fact that in the end Ku is weak and mostly useless without Ren, and as a fighter he never really came up to snuff. Second, the fight scenes were generally lacking, and the transformation Edelraids and Guardians did was too slow-paced. Imagine the transformation like in Sailor Moon, but like 2 to 3 times longer, and with chanting that got kind of boring. Also, when saying these special chants, the characters' mouths didn't move, and it felt kind of weird to me. Finally, the thing that most frustrated me was the confusion behind Chaos Choir, the kind of evil organization, yes, no, maybe, and how the main leaders were able to kind of react with each other. I didn't understand how Edelraids were able to react with each other, and it was never really explained. I also thought that some of what happened at the end was a little too convenient, and the friendship conquers all trope was a bit too heavy-handed for my taste. Alright, so finally the ecchi. Since this is a PG-13 anime, there isn't much ecchi, and very little, if any, fan service. I will say that for all its kiddie feel, there was some solid romance. I think the relationship between Ku and Ren is solid, and the slowly forming romantic bond makes this anime definitely interesting in the genre. For those of you who are fans of a solid romance, this has a nice build-up, and it isn't afraid to let the characters have some strong romantic moments. Oh, and there's one swimming scene with several characters, and I will admit Ren was definitely far more busty than her lolly exterior conveyed. Alright, so that wraps up Elemental Gelade. Overall, I think this one was solid, and I liked it quite a bit. I think the good far outweighed the bad, and given its solid and concrete ending, I think it's pretty much worth it to check out for anybody who likes romance or fighting, mixed in with some comedy and some sad moments. As always, this is Joe from GBE Reviews saying, Jeanne.
Oh, please don't let me